We are live.
Average subcontractor rates for electricians, ?
Look, I think for average subcontractor rates, what you're going to be looking at, if I was to get my guy Andy in here, shout out to Andy from Benchmark Electrical. I'm pretty sure his rates are sort of somewhere between $79 an hour and 85. And he's notoriously bad at, I'm going to adjust my cameras here. He's notoriously bad at giving me quotes or price indications on job that are way below. Point in question was one elevated, I had to remove interior set of stairs and put an elevator in, and he quoted me like $1,500, and it turned out he charged me $3,300. So his actual price ended up being double. So I had a few words with Andy then, and of course I did a little bit of a recording studio at my place, and he quoted me. He ended up charging me double what he ended up quoting me. Yeah, sure, mate. We'll get out of this for a couple of grand. $3,800 later. The Forrest and I is in the house. It's going freaking awesome. Forrest and I. What's his real name again? There's a name in there somewhere. But anyway, Forrest and I rock and roll. Okay, let's go.
These questions are from the comments.
Okay, we had a few comments. Yep.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Dylan. Oh, his name's Aaron. Forrest and I.
Sweet. Aaron, that's right. I having trouble remembering everybody's names. Everyone should wear name badges.
Dylan from TikTok.
Righto, Dylan.
Over the past couple of months, I've started having serious cash flow problems. Things are getting very bad. Any suggestions?
Yeah, I would say that, we are doubling down on the finances of our guys because it makes or breaks. So there's a couple of reasons. Like for us, it's, it's not that there's not enough money in the jobs, but it's kind of like the more money you make, the more money you spend. And that's a bitch, because if you do that, you kind of run out of money. So if you're having legitimate cash flow issues, it may be because you're not building in an appropriate amount of profit, but you also might be underquoting. And this is why back costing is super important, because if you, like for us, if you're like us, we do fixed price. So we do a lot of budget analysis. So when you do a fixed price, you put down, basically what you think the job is going to cost to build, because the client loves a fixed price. Now we take the risk, but we certainly don't go and mark shit up. You certainly don't go and mark shit up by, 12% or 18% when you are putting your neck on the line. We're talking 45% on renovations. On new homes, you're probably around the 33 to 35% mark. So that's one reason. 8:42 in Sydney, yeah, rock and roll. What are you talking about? Remember that song, 5 o'clock somewhere? Dude, it's 5 o'clock here. Well, it's almost 5 o'clock. And so, I think if you're having cash flow problems, now the cash flow problem could be related to the client maybe, or your progress payment schedule. Let's assume you're doing fixed price. I'll speak from somewhere from fixed price. What you can do sometimes is when you put your schedule together, what you've done is you leave too much time between drinks. Like, so you go and put down a contract signing stage, and in the process of construction, you haven't looked at where your cost spikes are, and therefore, when you are doing the work, potentially if you're not running commercial accounts, I used to run a whole bunch of commercial accounts, and so I could go in and buy shit on the 1st of the month, and I wouldn't have to pay for it until the 30th of the next month, so I would get 60 days. So the plan is I would go in and do the work and get the payment, because remember, guys and gals, if you're in construction, all your work that you do, the business that you have is cash flow positive. In other words, I sit down and sign a contract with you and I get a check from you. Now, that means there's money up front. So you're always in front of the game. Now, if you're having cash flow issues, what you've done is you've spent the money that you've got and some. Now you've got cash flow issues. Now, the other thing is you might look around, you might be top heavy. And top heavy means you've got too many humans that you have on the job. Now, if you've got subcontractors on hourly rate and all of a sudden they burn your budget, that you've allowed to do said project, that's a problem. It means they're going to be invoicing you for $5,000 when all you've got allowed for is $3,500. That's an issue, because when you pay that $5,000 out, you've just gutted your gross profit by $1,500. So that's another reason why you might have cash flow issues. But you also might have people that are on your team on payroll that you've got to keep paying every week, or every 2 weeks, or twice a month, or whatever the case is. and all of a sudden that's burning all your cash at bank, and you turn around and you haven't got enough money to go and buy the lumber that you need or the drywall that you need, or you got to pay the electrician or whatever the case may be. So I'm glad we've started off with a finance question, because this week I've had a little bit of a financial, week where I've really started to double down and, pay more attention to the financial position of the businesses that are a part of the Smith & Sons group. So, it's super important that you, and I've said this before, guys ask me, well, what's the advice you've got? And I'd say this: dream big, start small, systemize the shit out of everything, and educate yourself as it relates to financial management and business development. Those 5 things, okay? So dream big, start small, systemize the shit out of everything. Make sure you're educating yourself around financial management and business development. Everything like that has actually not a lot to do with, if you're like me, you did a carpentry apprenticeship. They don't teach you any of that at, trade school, right? They just teach you how to build stuff, and that's kind of their job. But what happens is us builders or carpenters or whatever tradies go out there and start running building companies, and all of a sudden, we're wondering why we're not making money. And a lot of the time it's just lack of understanding, lack of education. So how's that? We're good to go? Right. Next question.
Fernando from TikTok.
And the reason I'm drinking at 8:42 a.m. in Sydney is because it's 3:46 in British Columbia and Canada. So cheers to you as you drink your orange juice, champ.
Hey, do you know if all builders have to be qualified in some sort of trade? I want to become a builder, but I'm not a tradie.
So that's a question just got asked now?
No, it's in our comments.
Okay, so one of the comments, look, it depends where you are. I know that in where I come from, there's in Australia, there's a regulating body that says, which is very different to what I've got in BC. Here in BC, you can buy a building franchise from me and become a builder. Or you don't even need to do that. I could have got off the boat here, bought a pickup truck and a shitload of tools and go, right, I'm a general contractor. And I can deal directly with the public, which is, I don't know. It's sort of super dangerous for the clients. If you know what you're doing, of course, it's fine, but in Australia, you can't do business with the end user or the homeowner until you go through a very strict builder's license application and you're issued with that credential. So I think it's a good thing because it gets your head in the game, and I think it's what served me well. The fact that I went and did, the thing was this thick, like it was just like assignments, and my head freaking hurt. So, but what it did is it really made sure that I was serious about understanding the building game. Matter of fact, if I went to get a builder's license here in BC, which I will probably do just for bragging rights, BC Housing, which is the governing authority, they will say to me, and I'll do it with Canadian Home Builders Association because we're a member over there. So there's a side note, probably get involved with the local association in the building game in your area. That's always a bit of an asset. Cost me about $1,300 Canadian a year. But anyway, I would probably go and do the 8 courses or 7 courses. They're worth between $700 and $1,000 a piece. And the reason is, even though I've spent 33 something years in the business, what I want to do is I actually want to get down to the nitty gritty and really understand what's going on or what it takes to be a builder and know what you're doing in this. I don't want to go and contest the credential and try and just muscle or bully my way in there. I really want to get education. So when I say that the more you learn, the more you earn, I totally subscribe to that, not just from a lip service point of view, but literally when I get some blue sky, I'm going to probably go and do 2 years to get my builder's license here in this country. So, that's kind of a super long answer to a very short question, but that's pretty standard. That's the way I roll. Next question. We got in the house City and Country Limited on Instagram. We got Ascent Virtual Solutions. Welcome to the show. CBC Custom Building joined us as well. Shout out to Pownell Creative, special kind of folks over there. Brett Wilkie's in the house. He's asked a question. Okay, let's go. What's the next question?
Any insurance work tips, or have you done that work?
Yeah, look, it's kind of tricky because what I'd say is, like if you're going for insurance work, I would say that if you said to me, "Hey Max, is insurance work what you do?" And I would say no, it doesn't suit. So we understand that it's powerful when you define your niche and you really become a specialist, And so I know that there's insurance companies up and down the valley here where we live and work who have approached us and have had our general contractors do work. And a lot of the reason is because they love the fact that we do fixed price, right? So in this neck of the woods, and I wouldn't say this would be the same back home in Oz, but they love us here because we do fixed price. So we take their bid document, we put together a price, and it's fixed contract, et cetera. So I would say that we really want to chat with the people that are giving you those leads and ask them what they want. Find out, Brett, what means something to them. What do they value? Because what you want to do is in the process of doing that, you want to separate yourself from, right, he's just made a comment. I come from a restoration company just trying to understand our rebuilding side better and increase, and he didn't get finished because he probably run out of bloody, what's the name?
Increased profitability.
Increased profitability, right. So he's in a restoration company. Right, so if you're a restoration company, you're obviously dealing with insurance companies direct, right. Yeah, look, I think when we deal with homeowners, our sort of our go-to is that, we don't compete on price. Matter of fact, to really reinforce that is we're a design and build company. In other words, we work directly with customers. Matter of fact, we're always entertaining the idea of being a one-stop shop. So Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner finds us on Facebook and they're just starting to think about doing a renovation of their basement. And so what they do is they start watching what we're doing, and we start talking about things like, well, we do design, we do build, and the design part is all about interior designers, architects, engineers, geotechs, surveyors, all of that design network that it takes to sometimes get a job out the ground. And then, of course, we've got a network of suppliers, a reliable, network of trades, and all those, and we can get the permits and we can get the, the inspections and all of that sort of stuff handled as well. What happens is clients go, oh, awesome. So you're going to handle all of the bullshit. And we're like, yeah, we do. Because that's what we do. We're doing it all the time. So when Brett's asked us a question about trying to get into the rebuilding side and increase profitability, you've really got to take a step back and think about what is it that your customer wants and what can I do to separate myself? In other words, I don't want to be just another tree in the forest. How do I demonstrate value? So Brett, I don't know if you're a restoration company, you're obviously maybe bidding on within, you're liaising with insurance companies and saying, look, we want to bid on all of these like fire projects or flooding projects or whatever the case may be. And so, I think it's important that if you can, basically it's like this, find a need and fill it. Right. And a lot of the time you've got to be creative. So look, to give you an example, when I came to this country, the easiest thing for me to do was do what I did in Australia, and that is do fixed price contracts. Boom. And immediately the majority of, general contractors just in this town, all of a sudden they became like, my point of difference and my competitive advantage was that I gave to clients peace of mind, satisfaction and security because of the way that I put the let's call it a preliminary build contract together where we figure out exactly what it's going to cost. And then, of course, once we get out of contract, we've got timelines, we've got completion dates, we've got specifications, and, of course, we've got a fixed price quote or a fixed price for the contract. So, yeah, I would love to jam with Brett a little bit longer, but, the thing is with restorations company, Brett, and this might not be 100% correct, and it's like when the reason I don't do work, or I talk to my guys about not doing work for realtors is because essentially when I go back to my subcontractor days, the builder that I was subbing for as a framer, they would buy me at wholesale and sell me at retail. So if you're a restoration company working for an insurance, doing work for an insurance company, what they want to do is they're selling to the retail customer. They want to buy you at wholesale and make money on that at some level, or they definitely don't want to pay you any more than they have to, which means you've got to then sort of grind your inclusions, maybe cut a corner or two. I don't know exactly, but I just don't like it. When I'm talking to clients, I say, look, if that kitchen for $85,000 is too expensive, we can easily save you $8,000 by going from stone tops down to, just post-form laminate tops. Boom. So, that's going to take a little bit of massaging. But Brett, feel free to email me at max@businessforbuilders.ca or go to the businessforbuilders.ca website. Hit me up there. Don't forget to check us out on the podcast, the Business for Builders podcast on iTunes and Spotify and Google, blah, blah, blah.
Brett just said that we are fixed price typically at lower than market rate.
Yeah. Look, mate, I don't, I certainly, look, the thing is, right, I don't subscribe to being the cheapest, and I'm not saying that I'm going to be the most expensive, but I'm just saying that I'm quoting at market rate. Like, I've been in this game for 3 freaking decades. I'm not about to go and sort of have some insurance company or some homeowner who's watched HGTV for 13 seasons tell me my price is too expensive. Like, I'm the professional. I'm the guy that can tell you the costs associated with renovating a kitchen and what the retail price is that is going to be. When clients ever say to me, well, Max, I think that's too expensive and I think I should get that kitchen for $12,000, my question is, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Honer, can you please tell me what research you did to arrive at that price? And I just zip it. And you know what? It's flimsy, their response at best. And so it's just, you've got to, I guess you don't want to come across, and I sound like a bit of an arrogant pricklet then. I'm not trying to be like that. I would be more courteous than that. But I'm just saying, when I'm talking to builders, it's really just, guys and gals, you've got to look after yourself. There's way too many guys and girls going out of business in this game. And you know why? Because they feel like they've got to listen to what the client says. And if they haven't got enough leads front end, they're actually going to, take the next job that comes along, even if that means gutting their profit. And if they gut their profit too much over a period of 2 to 5 years, they're going to go broke, period. So, Brett's dropped me some love there as well. You're on if you're doing that, mate, you're on the right track, but it's hard, dude, because everyone just thinks that clients or homeowners or restoration or insurance companies, insurance companies do want the cheapest price. If you go and do work for the city in this town and you put in a bid for a project, mate, they don't even look twice. They're just going to take the cheapest bid. That's why city does not fit into our preferred client profile. Homeowners between the ages of, let's say, 45 and 75, they're the people that really join, with a special shout out to Surianch Watts on Instagram. Thanks for joining us, pal. He's a special guy. Congratulations. He's just about to get married. Blowing my mind. And he wants to drag me to India to go to the ceremony. I don't know if I can do that. But anyway, good to have you in the house, Sambo. Sam, I am. All right, another question. Let's go. Hope that helps, Brett. Cheers, mate. Keep talking to me.
C5. That's all I got.
C5, righto.
When is it the right time to expand and hire in-house project manager? I am currently a solo GC.
Yeah. Good question. I love it. Because what we're talking about is developing and building business. And it's always, I tell you, look, it's a great question, because there's probably 100 other people in the house that go, yeah, good question. Now, when do you bring on a project manager? I'll tell you this. This is what you should be doing. That's a pretty direct. That means I'm kind of going to hang my hat on a lot of, people come back to me and go, well, I did that and it didn't bloody well work. What I want you to do is, really what you need to do is understand the principle that says we are, as you, who asked the question, C5. Right.
Yeah, C5. I'll try and
okay, so what you've got to understand, the principle is that we operate around using data to make decisions confidently. So they're called data. It's called data-driven decision making. Okay, so that's a philosophy that we use. Now, when someone says to me, Max, when should I bring on a project manager? Not when you got a shit ton of work. What I want you to do is think about how much does a project manager cost, and you might say, okay, that's going to cost me, let's say $8,000 a month, right? For, someone, I don't know, just whatever the number is, right? But let's say $8,000 a month. Let's say it costs you including your wages. Let's say it costs you pay yourself $8,000 a month as well. So we're at 16,000, right? Just with 2 people, right? 16,000 a month. Then let's say you've got, another $8,000 to make my math super easy or easier. That's another $8,000 of running costs. It might be insurances, gas, everything else it needs, subscriptions, the whole 9 yards. That's going to cost you another $8,000. So you're at $24,000 a month. What I would say is the right time to bring on a project manager, if you're thinking about it, and I've just done the numbers, some rough numbers, right? Go do your own research. Done some rough numbers. What you need to do is, I need you to bank. I'm getting a phone call. Delete.
I put your phone on. Do not disturb.
It's all right. I'll just go to him, mate. I'm in a meeting, right? There we go. So people in TikTok are just going all cross-eyed because I froze, right? But what I would say to you, let's say we've just calculated, hey, we've got a Smithies in the house. Smithies MacArthur. Welcome, champion. What I would say is you need 3 months worth of overhead. So we've just established that it's $8,000 for you. It's $8,000 for your project manager. Let's say it's $8,000 for running costs. There's $24,000. I would like you to, if I was giving you the advice and we were sitting down over a beer and having a chat, I would say to you, you need to bank 3 months worth of overheads before you go and make that decision, right? You need to get on with that, because the reason that the builders fall over is because they run out of freaking cash. That's the game, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to put a force field, like a monetary force field on. We want to protect ourselves from financial failure. And so the way we do that is if we are, now understand there's a time for expansion and there's a time for consolidation, right? So you're saying, okay, so what I'm asking you to do, C5, is put the work in and bank, the best part of 70 odd thousand. You might go, Max, that's bullshit. I'll never do that. Well, okay. So what happens if you get jobs on the go? You've now got an $8,000 freaking project manager on. Guess what's going to happen to you in 8 months? You're going to run out of money. You're not going to be able to pay him. You're not going to be able to pay his suppliers because you're busy taking the money the client gives you. Instead of paying suppliers, you're going to pay your project manager. And then you're going to have 30 and 60 days and 90 days bills with suppliers. They're going to stop credit. All of a sudden, your building game starts to fall apart. Why? Because you didn't listen to what I said and go bank the money first and then go get a project manager. So that's the right time. That's just one slither of advice. That's one tactic, one strategy that I would use is put the money in the bank first, 3 months worth of overhead, and then go and make a move to grow. Don't go the other way and go, right, I've just won contracts. I'm going to put an $85,000 project manager, on my, what's her name? Just try and run a man short. And I've talked about that concept before. Try and run a man short. Matter of fact, what I would say to you, what's more important, and I know this is going to sound a bit bizarre, but I would say don't hire a project manager first. Hire an office nanny, someone with bookkeeping experience, someone that can help you analyze your monthly financials. What I ask of my group of general contractors in this country is like every 30 days, I want to see profit and loss balance sheets, payable summaries, receivable summaries, trial balances. I want to see that now. Do I get that every month? No, they're not very cooperative. Anyway, we're working on them. And then, of course, I want to see the end of the year, what their net profit. Is it over 10% or if it is under? And so it's all about data-driven decisions. That's how we're doing it. So the thing is, C5, is if you get into it with a project manager and after 1 month he's a knucklehead, and you may or may go, you know what, I don't want a project manager anymore. You haven't compromised the financial stability of your business because you've insulated yourself from failure because you worked your ass off, you made bank, you put 3 months worth of overheads together, and you're able to go and have a crack at it for a month or 60 days and then back out and actually have compromised your position. Now, have you wasted a little bit of money? Absolutely. But you're in the black still. You're not in the friggin' red. Stay out of the red, please. Beer time. What are we laughing at? These clowns in the background are just giggling like freaking schoolgirls, and I'm trying to concentrate, and I don't concentrate very well. So, user just was user 720569 blah blah blah. Was that C5? Because he just gave me a pat in the back for the good answer. So cheers.
Yes,
big
that was
sweet as a nut. People, get rid of the user and put a real name in something so I can ID you, so I can give you some daps and shit.
Oh.
Okay, have we got another question? Let's keep rolling. These people are busy, dude. They're either trying to get to happy hour or they've just woken up and they've got, somewhere to be and they want to cook bacon and eggs. Particularly, shout out to the Kiwis and the Aussies. Rock and roll. I should get my guitar out in between questions. But
Granny wants ya. Has a question from TikTok.
Granny does want me. Cool.
Best tips for a young chippy looking to become a builder.
Right, so there's an Aussie. I bet he's from Melbourne, I'm guessing. East Coast at least. Look, I think, what did he say? How old did he say he is?
Didn't say.
Okay, young builder, a young chippy. Right, only Aussies and Kiwis calls them chippies. All the North Americans, Europeans are going, what? What's a chippy? I don't even know. Can someone tell me from our Aussie and Kiwi, audience, why did we start calling ourselves chippies? I still don't know that. Anyway, wood butcher, maybe. Wood chips, possibly. Okay, look, I think the thing is, what I've said before is this is a fairly 22-year-old chippy in Sydney. I was close. What time is the year? Now, we've done State of Origin, and we don't want to talk about that because I think we lost that shit. So let's move on. Look, for a young carpenter coming into the game, who's been in the game. So by 22, I'd been a carpenter for 2 years, right? I think he's giving us a shout out with a beer, you little ripper.
Did you want the origin for the chippy word?
What's that?
Did you want the origin? I searched it up.
No, I don't want the origin score because I know the Maroons.
No. Like of the word chippy.
Oh yeah, what is the origin of the word chippy?
No doubt in reference to wood chips that flew that flew past carpenters while they're working their magic.
Right. That sounds pretty ordinary. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. Look, what I would say to young chippies, young carpenters who've got a goal to be a builder, look, I honestly think any guys, now I'm not saying, this is my opinion, right? One guy's opinion, it's probably worth what you paid for it, is that, you know, your youth is an advantage because you got plenty of energy and you're optimistic and you're enthusiastic and maybe you're entrepreneurial, you know, as well. But what I just want to caution you with the fact that as a 49-year-old old boy, you know, if I had a seasoned builder come in who'd been in the game for 15, 20 years, I cannot help myself if there's a 25-year-old builder who's also come in. I am probably going to put my money with the 45-year-old carpenter or whoever it is, or builder, sorry. So what I need 22-year-olds to do is the same thing I started out the show with, those 5 things. Dream big, start small, systemize the shit out of everything. What was the other thing? Educate yourself around financial management and business development. Those 5 things is that would be my advice to young carpenters, tradespeople, and that sort of thing where they've got a desire. If you're in the game, look at guys around you who are 10, 15, 20 years or more your senior and just ask them questions. Like, questions are the answers. Just ask questions. Listen to what they say. Ask several builders. Listen to the similarities between the questions. Maybe then, listen to some of the negatives that they're banging on about and going, why is that? Why is that? Start to ask questions in your own head. Start to ask questions, directly to the guys' faces to figure out. So steal with your eyes and ears. Spend plenty of time just kicking. You've got time. 22 years old. Holy shit. I would probably give my left arm to be 22 years ago. No, I couldn't, because then I couldn't play the guitar. Right? So, but yeah, just make the most of the time you got. And the other thing, number 6. So I said, dream big, start small, systemize the shit out of everything, spend as much time as you can educating around financial management and business development, and be patient. Number 6, be patient. You're young as shit, bro. Just let it come to you. Start getting out there and really, educating yourself. The more you learn, the more you earn. You've heard me say that before. Your attitude determines your altitude. If you want to go up, make sure your attitude is good and on point. Understand that, resistance builds muscle mass. So the more weight you're lifting at your level, the better it is for you. We're all going to go through struggles and things where where we're like, I can't stand this. Why is my life sucks? Blah blah blah. We'll always look for the positive to come out of it. Go, what is this trying to teach me? What can I learn from this? As miserable as you might be, there's always something you can take away. You have to do that or get out. Quit. Forget about it, because you ain't got the chops. If you're going to quit on yourself this early, you're done. Go work for somebody. You're probably a really good second in command. So think about that. But if you're going through shit, or your patience is being tested, because I'm not getting it next week, and I've been waiting for like 2 days and I should have got my responses or whatever. You want to be successful yesterday, you've got to be patient. Do all you can do and then just hold, just wait. Okay, again, that was a long answer to a very short question.
Brett has another question.
Brett, that's Brett Wilkie.
Yeah.
Brett Wilkie, Brett.
Wiki. There's no L.
Oh, sorry. Bloody hell. It's
Wiki?
the...
Is there an L?
And I'm the guy who wears the glasses.
No, I'm reading it. Cher put Wiki.
There's an L.
Shara, it's Wilkie. Crikey.
He just asked cost plus versus fixed price quote? Question mark.
Yeah, look, mate, to me it's a no-brainer. Like, if I could nail down now, what's the episode? Have we got an episode for fixed price where I talk about? Is that episode 75? Episode 44 on the Business for Builders podcast, and on YouTube. It would be under podcast videos, I'd imagine. I think, are you putting that in the comments now or something like that? Look, the reason why I didn't come to town and go, well, everyone else is doing cost plus, so I'll just go and do cost plus. The reason is, A, because I think it gave me a competitive advantage, because A, I could charge more money. B, I'd done it all my life, so I was kind of cool with it. But C, it certainly gave me a massive competitive advantage. And so, did I just say competitive advantage twice? I can't remember. But the difference is mainly, Brett, is that when you're a commodity, when you do cost plus, you're a commodity. In other words, people come to you, Brett, and they go, can you please quote these plans? And you say, well, I can't quote them for you, but I'll do cost plus, but it'll be between $400,000 and $600,000 to do your new home. or whatever. Then what they can do is they can grab those set of plans, go down the road, drop them on 3 builders' desks and get the same thing. Notice it's like, right, how much am I paying for can of Coke number 1? What's that guy going to sell me a can of Coke for? And what's that guy going to sell me a can of Coke for? When we go into fixed price, in brackets, design and build, all of a sudden I become a legitimate service. Now, if he goes down to the road to the cost plus contractor, are they going to do the plans? Are they going to do the engineering and the interior design? No, because what they want to do is they want to go cost plus straight to build. Whereas what we do is we set up the whole build process with what we call the preliminary building agreement or the quantity takeoff survey, quantity takeoff service, whereby we go into great detail to work out exactly what the fixed price is going to be. Not to mention that clients, of course, want to know what they're going to pay, when it's going to be finished by, and what are they going to get. So, yeah, that's why we do it. What are you smiling at?
Somebody just said Cambria is heavily overpriced because they're just looking at
this shit up here.
Yeah, I had to search it up and I saw the
logo.
Don't
worry, mate. This is just a friggin' this is just a studio prop. Ignore. I think we need to go and send them back. Gross margin percentage. That's. I'm going straight with Brett's comment because when I see GM percent, nobody knows what that means. King P's just having a laugh. Gross margin percentage, mate. If I'm marking up by 43%, I've got a gross margin of 30%, and all my guys are rolling with that. So I don't know. What are you doing, Brett? Tell me a story, buddy. What are you and your restoration company? Brett's jamming with us hardcore. I freaking love this. This is what it's all about, folks. Brett, what's your gross margin percentage? What are you running on? What are you shooting for?
While
we're waiting for, it depends. 80% on what? Oh, an emergency. Yeah, see, he's doing restoration work, mate, remodeling experts, but approximately 25 on repairs. So he's doing about 33% markup. Repairs, mate, I think you can do better. 50% on, I don't know what content is. I don't know if content is more like renovations, remodels. But he's all now. See, here's the other thing I don't subscribe to. I'm a builder, I'm a general contractor, and I do some commercial, some industrial, some renovations. I'll even do a new home. I'll fix your fence and I'll put your bird cage together, like all your freaking IKEA furniture. I'll throw that shit together as well. If you pay me the right money and shout me a beer, like seriously, stop it already. Figure out what your niche is. Now, I grew up on new homes. Then the builder that I work for, he ended up getting me involved in townhouse framing and finishing and soffits and shit like that. But really, then when I got in with moving and storing contents, holy shit, dude, you're all over the paddock. But I mean, however you do it, I'm not saying that I'm right. It's just this is what I do. But for me, I really started to enjoy systemizing the repairs. Is why I'm listening to you. Attaboy, systemize the shit out of everything. So. Look, I'm not against multiple streams of income, but I know as a builder, let's just kind of keep it simple. For us, renovations and remodels is the game. Because I know that you're only going to be marking up 33% on new homes. You're going to be marking up somewhere between 45 and 55% on renovations and remodels. I like the systemized approach to estimating. I like the systemized approach to deconstruction and reconstruction. I think there's more creative for me. Hear me what I'm saying. This is about me. I'm not saying that this shit's gospel. No, I'm talking about what I like. I grew up and did decades of frames on the Gold Coast. I did everything from North Coast, Sunshine Coast, right down to Casuarina Beach, northern New South Wales. And I'm just like, I was working for Pacific Steel Homes doing steel frames, right? I wasn't doing steel frames. I was doing the carpentry finishing and all the exterior siding and decks and shit like that. So I've done a shit ton of miles and I've done a shit ton of stuff where you just go and do the same old. I love creative in the renovation game. I actually enjoy the pre-contract design phase because I get as much satisfaction out of helping clients get to a concept position where they go, Max, that's exactly, when they do a virtual walkthrough, that's exactly what I want. If you can build that, that'll be amazing. And that's where, to me, it's not about doing it just for the money. Now I'm doing it for the love, right? So, guys, just, whatever that says to you, I don't know what that means to you, but that's basically why I do what I do. Who's next in the line for a question?
Danielle.
Danielle.
Is that how you say that? DANIELLE.
That's Danielle. This is a monumental moment because I am pretty certain Dude, I want you to pull it up right now.
I don't know. I don't have it.
And I want to follow Danielle. The fact that I don't even know what a question is yet, but I'm so pumped. Yep, said it right. Atta girl. That's what I'm talking about. It's so good to have
maybe it's a guy.
Hey?
Maybe it's a guy.
Don't be silly. Give me a break.
2022, man.
Give me a chromosome. Show me. Yeah. Danielle, for the sake of the crowd that we've got going here that's all kind of questioning, do we actually have a female in the house? Please confirm the gender that you would like to be referred to, please. Anyway, does Danielle have a real question that instead of just...
No. Okay, we'll roll with the question.
Nah, thanks. Okay, sweet. Let's go with the question.
Thoughts on charging for quotes?
I don't know. Thoughts on what? Charging for quotes?
Yeah. Yeah, thoughts on charging for quotes.
What did you just do?
She just said she's female.
Atta girl. Awesome. Right. We're going to do a deal today.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. Okay. And her question is, what's the thoughts on charging for quotes?
Yeah, thoughts on charging for quotes.
Give me, what's the TikTok, freaking TikTok. What is the podcast episode where I talk about charging like QTS?
So episode 60 is how we get paid to quote.
Episode 60?
Yep.
Danielle, episode 60 on the Business for Builders podcast, which is on iTunes and Spotify and a couple of the others as well. You can also find that shit on Business for Builders YouTube, and it's how you get paid to quote. Now, let me give you a quick... I really doubled down on that shit on those episodes, didn't I? Ultimately, Danielle, the deal is clients, now here's the thing. The backstory is there is clients out there that are going to focus on money. They're not really the clients that we want to work for. Now, the clients that we want to work for are those that focus on quality. Now, it doesn't make them stupid, and it's not like they're not looking at finance. It's not that they're not prudent, but they understand the concept that you get what you pay for, right? So with that concept in mind, what I want you to understand is if you are going to go in and righto, in Australia, roofer's wife. All right, giddy up, close enough. So what we're trying to do now is if we are going to get paid to quote, and I would urge you not to go to a client and say, right, Mr. Client, you're going to pay me to give you a quote. Don't do that. What you've got to do is you've got to figure out a way how that you can demonstrate value. Now, it's a little bit trickier in Oz because everyone's doing fixed price. I come out here and all of these guys, all of these monkeys in this country are doing, they're doing cost plus. So what's the easiest way for me to be competitive? Offer fixed price. So now I still think that you can do it in Oz. And if I jump back into the game in Brisbane, I'll be like, okay, what am I going to do to add value? Well, I think what you've got to do is you've got to be able to use what we call a preliminary building agreement, really look at the value that you create in the design phase. Now, as a builder, the best way I can do that is to become that one-stop shop. And I know this happens in Australia as well. Guys or builders will just want to, or contractors will just want to go, well, when the client comes to me with a plan, I'll quote the job. Now, if you're a sub, that kind of works, but we're dealing with mostly end-user homeowners type of thing. So what they don't find here is a one-stop shop where we have business relationships with architects, interior designers, geotechs, or what do they call them in Australia? Soil testers, I think, surveyors, all that kind of stuff. We would do that. Because then what they do is they're like, well, if Max is going to offer me all that stuff under one roof, why would I go and deal with a guy who's just going to, who wants me to go and do all the running around? So as a roofer's wife, I'm not 100% sure how you're going to go. I would need to think about that. And not that I do this because obviously I'm selling general contractors. I'm selling franchises to builders and general contractors. So it's easy for me to do it with builders who deal directly with homeowners. But as a roofer, if you're dealing directly, and you could easily be doing this, Danielle, you could easily be dealing directly with the homeowner. You're saying, right, now as a roofer, I wonder if you do, Danielle, do you do metal roofs or you're talking about concrete roof tile, or you don't care, you do both? So it'd be interesting to know. That'd be an interesting one for me to think of because it's kind of outside. Like we use roofers as subcontractors, so we can serve our end user homeowner clientele. But for me to stop as a I mean, the reason I went and got a builder's license is because I was tired of being a carpenter, working directly for builders and, them buying me at wholesale and selling me at retail. I just knew there was more money there. I knew there was more risk. Didn't quite know what I was supposed to do as a builder and how I would do that. But I went out there and give it a crack anyway. So Danielle probably didn't really touch on too much. Go and check out that episode number 60. Episode number 60 on the Business for Builders, either podcast or YouTube. And look, feel free, folks, anybody in the house, if you've got a question for me, hang on, just on Instagram, Ascent Virtual Solution. I'm a woman in the industry as well, and I'm enjoying the first 5 live I'm catching. Yes, is that YAS, sharing great info. You're so bloody welcome. Glad to have you in the house. So yeah, Danielle's doing mostly metal, bit of tile as well, lots of heritage work, direct to the homeowner. That's awesome. And I'll tell you why, Danielle, because when you're dealing directly with the homeowner, the advantage you have is homeowners, understand this, that homeowners don't trust us, nor should they, because, quite frankly, we have a bit of a shitty reputation. Not all of us, it's not how, it shouldn't be that way, but it is. So what happens is the wall of distrust goes up because they hear the shit on Facebook or they watch it on HGTV and horror stories make for good TV. So so all of a sudden they're like, oh, all builders and all contractors are scumbags and scammers and arseholes, when it's not the truth. However, we have to deal with the perception because perception is stronger than truth. Okay, so with that being in mind, what we have to do, Danielle, is go in there with the homeowner and deconstruct the wall of distrust. So how are we going to do that? And really what I say to my guys and gals at Smith & Sons is that we never, ever, ever go in and ask for the business until we've had somewhere between 8 or 12 touch points. I have to get to know the client. The client has to get to know me. I have to spend the time and build the rapport and the trust, because people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And how else are you going to get someone to know, like, and trust you? I'll tell you how, is, the communication lines that you have with clients. The other way is if you go and look at the smithandsons.ca. Now, I can't speak for the Aussies and the Kiwis, right? I don't control Smith & Sons Australia and New Zealand, right? Just a note. But what you can do is go and check out smithandsons.ca and take a listen to some of the client testimonial videos that we've got on the website. That is how our clients actually get to know how we do business, and they get to know us and they get to like us and they get to trust us. So, we don't want to start bombing in on, our marketing and how we do it, because we'll be here forever. But Danielle, if you had a website, you really got to have past clients talking to prospective clients and you not even being in the show, not even being in the conversation. Because what happens is that helps you deconstruct the wall of distrust. Stop working for developers. Yeah, look, they're just worried. All they're focused on is the dime or the dollar. They're just going to screw you over. And they've got big bucks and big lawyers. And if they want to go and dispute a payment, then they're just going to really, work the finance side of it, which is horseshit. I don't know why they do that. But anyway, it is a little bit unstable. So you want that predictability. You want to actually be booking work for 3 to 12 months in advance, Danielle, and it's all going to come down to your brand and your messaging and how you're connecting with the marketplace. And not just go Google AdWords and get people to ring your number so you can go and give them a quote. What you've got to also focus on is the power of farming, right? So we have a database of, somewhere between 500 and 2,000 homeowners. I don't know what it is. And what we're doing is we're always talking to them. We're trying to, we do electronic digital marketing. So maybe once a week, there's an email that goes out to that homeowner database, and it just talks about different things in the marketplace, what we bring to the table. Not really right hooky, but what we're trying to do is keep them in our community, and we keep talking to them about what we do and how we do it differently. And then at some point when they decide to make a move, they're going to go, you know what? I've been watching Smithies for 6 months. I think I'm going to go down there and have a chat with him, or I'm going to get on the phone and ring him. So that's what we call farming. We do a lot of farming. We do call to action, absolutely right now. Need a builder, need a roofer, need a contractor, whatever the case may be. Need an interior designer. But then there's the flip side too, where we want to get them into the community where they've just started looking. And when we're a design and build company, when I'm talking to builders, those are the type of people that start recognizing those companies that actually do the whole scope of work versus that guys that just want to give you a quote and want you to sign a contract, in a day from now because they need the work. That's not how we roll. So I hope that helps, Danielle. I could chat with you all day. Which part of Oz are you from? Tell me where you're at. It'd be great. Hopefully you're a Queenslander and not a freaking New South Welsh person. All right, give me a next question because there's a few popping up and I am.
Granny wants ya from
Granny wants ya.
Legend Mate Business Development Education Sources ?
Hit me with that again.
Business Development Education Sources ? I think he's asking you.
Yeah,
for
look,
some.
yeah. What's that?
YouTube, B for B YouTube.
Business for Builders podcast is a great way to start. What is it? Granny wants ya? What's his name?
Granny wants ya. That's what
Granny wants ya.
Shara has here, but.
Yeah, look, guys and gals, this is really interesting. Danielle's from New South Wales. That's okay. I mean, you kicked their ass in the freaking state of origin anyway, so whatever. Did we? I think we lost. Did we lose this year? Danielle, I'm pretty sure she'll stick it to me if she won. If she didn't, she's going to nick off because the Queenslanders had it. I left Australia and then New South Wales started winning. What can I say? For business development or financial management was the question.
Business development education.
Business development education. Yeah, look, it depends. Here's what I would say. It depends on your background. And this is why, and I'm not selling shit because I don't, but this is where the coaching really is powerful in amongst the Smith & Sons group. Because I've got 8 general contractors that I work with, and I am telling you, none of them are the same. I got 6 kids as well. None of those creatures are the same either. You've got to take a different angle. So when I'm talking to Granny Wantcha, it really comes down to the type of experience, how far into the game are you, what your appetite for risk is, what your bank balance is currently, how much you want to grow, what's your end game look like, what do you want from your business? In other words, do you want your business to pay you $100,000 dividend so you can piss off to Mexico and sip martinis and sit on the beach and all that sort of, and which I know is kind of what everyone wants, but it's not that easy. So, yeah, look, I think it's a little bit hard for me to nail down Granny Wantcha, exactly what the right thing is. But I would say this, just think about, just go looking. What I would say is go find someone that when you listen to them, they resonate with you and they're giving you some hard and fast steak and potatoes. And I know I can get rocks thrown at me because there's not a lot of, I sit here and chat with you guys and gals about all of this sort of stuff, and it just comes out of my head and out of my mouth. It might be worth what you just paid for it. But, ultimately, what we've got, and only today I finished off a 190 slide PowerPoint for my general contractors. I've got 3 GCs or 3 builders, general contractors coming in on November 1 for basically 3 new franchised operators coming in. And, day 4 is, business development and strategic planning. And that PowerPoint is about 190 slides long. So I'm going to be pushed to get through all of that. So I'm going to have to try and start that on day 3. And it's just so, it's so broad. But then I'm going to be talking to each of these guys that are going to be sitting in the room. And we're really going to, jam around some very specific business development, strategies for them and their business and their families. And that's the other thing too. Some of these guys are single. Some of these guys have got kids and family and obligations and all that kind of shit. So, it really is. I can't recommend anything. Obviously, what I'm going to try and do is I've got my team saying, Max, you've got to do some whiteboard sessions. All those in favor of Max doing a whiteboard session, give me a wave. Is that what you do on these freaking platforms?
Thumbs up.
Give me a thumbs up. I could do whiteboard sessions on some, and I'm going to have to try and figure out, because nobody wants to sit here maybe and watch me do a 45-minute whiteboard session. It's like,
it would be 10 minutes.
Stab me in the frigging eye. Yeah, my team's saying I'm going to do it under 10 minutes. Oh, sure. I did a podcast the other day, and I had 10 points, and then I had 10 wrap-up points, and they said, seriously, we are going to split that into 2 podcasts. So that's what happened. So
we're getting a lot of questions.
Brett, okay. Brett Wilkie's giving me a thumbs up for a whiteboard session. So, dude, I'm going to leave it to my team to help orchestrate and organize me, because I will get off this, and it's Friday, and please take notes, Jill. I know you want to do whiteboard session. I get it. Yeah. Anyway, subject matter. Maybe we start talking about what these guys want to talk about. And I tell you what, guys and gals, email me, max@businessforbuilders.ca. That email goes directly to my phone, which I'm looking down here on TikTok. Someone else's phone we're using for Instagram. If you send me that email and say, whiteboard session subject talk to me about, whatever, I will do a quick 5 to 7 minute whiteboard. That's going to get the ball rolling, because otherwise I'm just going to pick subjects out of the blue, and if it's not relatable to you guys and girls, I'm sort of wasting my time and yours. So let's keep it relatable. Let's do what you guys want me to do. Right. Okay. So
do you just want to
good question, Danielle.
Just want to tell them that like all the comments get captured, because we're getting a lot of repeat.
Right. Okay, look, if you've just joined us too, there's a camera sitting right here that's recording this whole Q&A. It's going down this microphone right here, and it's going to be recorded. And Saturday week, because that's what happens, it gets dumped on Business for Builders YouTube channel. All of this session, this whole session, Danielle, you might want to go and chase this up later. But a week tomorrow, it will be on the Business for Builders YouTube channel under which list, folks? Q&A.
Yep,
there's a Q&A list there that's right now. And the best thing about that is that it's going to be cataloged. So every time a question gets asked, there'll be a timestamp and the subject of that question. So you can literally, if you take note of the date and you'll log it according to today's date. So it's going to be, what are we, September 30?
Yeah.
Yep, September 30. If you go and check that out on YouTube next Saturday, you could literally go back to your question and basically review the waffle that's come out of my mouth for the last 58 minutes. Okay, what's the next question? Let's go.
Max Martin from TikTok.
Max Martin. Great name, Max. Cheers.
When getting good contracts, is it more who you know than what you know?
Oh, is Max Martin a subcontractor, or is he a builder or general contractor dealing directly with consumers?
He's been in everything before.
Yep. 100%.
I couldn't tell you.
Good on you, Danielle. Yeah, and look, like I said, if you've got a question, hit me up, max@businessforbuilders.ca, or you can go to our Business for Builders website. Just push through a contact form, and it will come to my admin, and we'll get it, and so we can jam a little bit more. So that's awesome. I'm glad you're looking out for your number one, helping him out, getting the good oil on how to run a better business. And you know what? Ascent Virtual Solutions. I never got her name. That's unfortunate. I wonder if she's still in the house. Maybe she could just drop her first name so we can, give her some daps. Virtual Solutions. I wonder if that's a building company or if that's an interior designer. I'd like to know more info. Sorry. So, did we get any hit back from Max Martin about whether he's dealing with? Okay, Max, come back to me, champ. The next question. Go.
Brett Wilkie, what estimating program are you using? ?
Right.
Also, what lead turnover percentage?
Okay, lead turnover. Now let's go back.
He's got like 3 questions.
Yeah, shit, a brick, fart, a crowbar, which will mean nothing to the North Americans or the Europeans, but the Aussies and the Kiwis will get that. Business for Builders podcast. Episode 75 is Build Exact, where I talk about Build Exact. Right, episode 75 on the Business for Builders podcast or YouTube. Episode 75 where I talk about Build Exact. That's the program that basically over 100 franchise general contractors in the Smith & Sons family use. It ain't perfect, but you know what? 100 of us are using it. It's okay. But, I've had better. So now the second question was...
Also, what lead turnover percentage ?
Right, okay. So look, remember this comes down, this percentage that I'm going to give you, this percentage breakdown is going to be relating to the renovations and remodel. So... And because we do quantity takeoff services and we qualify fairly harshly, firmness with courtesy, we do it nicely with a smile on our face. Unfortunately, we're not in a position to give you a bid for your project. All the best with your project. Bye-bye. We do send those emails. What we do, out of 100 leads, and so you'll be easy. This is easy to break this percentage down. Do I hear giggling in the background then? Seriously? Keep it down back there. Out of 100 leads, 50% of them will either go out the window. Andrea, good to have you in the house. I hope I pronounced that right. That's a different way of spelling Andrea, but I hope I got that right. Half the leads will go out the window, or will go into our what we call our remarket list, which they go into our customer relations management database, which we use MailChimp to then send them electronic digital marketing talking about how wonderful Smith & Sons is if they're not in a position to buy from us right now. Now, in some cases, they go onto a special list that we call no-go. Whereas if all they were trying to do was grind us on price or they wanted to break down, we just don't market to those because they don't fit our preferred client profile. So that's 50% of the leads out. Then of that 50%, we would sign up at least 50% of that remaining 50%. So when you break it down, it would be 25% of our gross number of leads. Now, that's my goal. What I see more commonly is between 15 to 25% of our gross amount of leads that come in. So, yeah, Brett, I hope that helps, man. That's an Exact Wear product. I don't know who owns Build Exact. I thought they were just owned by whoever. I'm not sure. Anyway, what's the next?
His
was that
third question?
Yeah, what's Brett's? Brett is such a freaking question hog.
Sorry for bombarding.
Oh, that's all right,
What is
mate.
your overhead percentage of revenue?
Yeah, brilliant question. Now, this again, because I know this guy's in the restoration game. If you were with me, I would say optimistically 15%, but that might be a little bit too lean. So I might say 15 to 25% of your target revenue. That's what I'm going to say your fixed percentage should be. Now, again, I don't know your business. How many touch points? Freaking Brett is a bloody ninja. He's asking some red hot questions. So anyway, you fix your fixed expenses as a percentage of your overall target revenue should be 15%. But I might allow you to go a bit larger if you're specializing. If you're doing smaller contract work or whatever. So 15 to 25% max. But please just keep an eye on your own fixed expenses, making sure that you are keeping those fixed expenses down around that 15% mark. I'm going to follow. I got Brett's question.
Yeah.
How many touch points per lead? I don't know. Touch points. I'm saying 8 to 12 before I can actually ask for the business. That's what I teach. So don't go in there and take one phone call with a client, one site visit, give them a quote, and do a follow-up call and ask for the business. That's 4 touch points. Not good enough. Don't go there yet because they haven't had the opportunity to get to know you, like you, and trust you. Yeah, now he's asking EBITDA percentage. Brett, I'm done answering your questions, pal. Now, I don't know. Yeah, he's on it. Brett, why are you not running your own business, pal? You know what? We should call him up and get him on the live. I need to have a conversation with this guy.
There's a little button right here.
Brett.
If they click that button.
Which one's that one there?
And then request. They can come onto the live.
Now, I can't see that on the bottom of my screen. On the bottom of your screen, there is,
pink person.
It says multi-something or other.
Yeah.
He's a ninja. EBITDA, folks, is earnings before income tax and I think depreciation and amortization. Have I got that right, Brett? Now I'm taking some coaching consult. Look, EBITDA percentage is basically what's my net profit overall. Now, that should be, I would say, minimum 10%, but that's what I would call net profit percentage, which essentially that's your income. Sorry, that's your earnings before income tax, depreciation, amortization. So, I'm going to follow Brett because I think there's some shit I can learn from that guy. Although he's asking me some really good questions. So it's awesome that we can jam around that, and hopefully everyone's getting some value out of that. And again, be sure to check out the September 30 Q&A on what is it? YouTube. I'm having a brain fart here. Righto, next question. Brett's being a freaking question hog.
Joshua,
on where?
TikTok.
Joshua on TikTok, thanks for the question.
Could you add the hours you spend quoting into the work hours of the job?
Okay, the downside with that, Josh, good question, man. The problem is, I would say the average project is going to take you, and this is really, there's no real science behind this estimation, but it's going to take you between 20 and 50 hours, depending on the size of the job. I could quote a $25,000 job in 15 minutes, right? So, and I've done this. I could drag you out to the home that I did this. Now, did I shake on that deal? No, I did not. I said to the guy, his name was Jack. I said, Jack, look, this is where I'm at. Jack, this is where I'm at. That's a bit of a rap. That's the best I got. But, at that time I said, this is where, anyway, by the time I come back with the price, it was pretty much close. I was happy with the numbers. I told the client, I'm going to go and sit in my truck for 15 minutes. Give me 15 minutes. I'll work out a number. And now what I do is I would say to Jack, I'd say, look, mate, it's going to cost you between $23,000 and $30,000 to remove those interior stairs, to put that elevator in. You supply the elevator. For me to put all the wiring and the drywall and the paint and the flooring, blah, blah, blah. That's what I would say. But so now the downside with trying to add those hours into the quote, and I did that with that little quote. Now, if that was a $250,000 job, not a $25,000 job, you're not going to do that quote if you're talking fixed price in 15 minutes, bro. You're not going to be able to do it. The problem is you're going to go and invest 50 hours in that estimate. What happens when you don't work? What happens when you don't win the job? What happens if when you do, let's say, 5 to 10 of those a month and you only win one of those? Like, are you prepared to write off all that time? Dude, your knowledge and experience is worth something. Why can you not? Why does my lawyer charge me $425 an hour? Because he's saying to me, Max, my knowledge and time, my knowledge and experience is worth something. That's why he's charging me for it. Guys and gals, why don't we have... I know why. Because we're too damn desperate to win the work. That's why we don't do it. We're all too busy trying to undercut the next guy to get to the work. And then because we've competed on price, we wonder why we're not making any money and why we can't build a freaking business. Danielle has just made, and this is what I was saying about charging for quotes, time. Your knowledge and experience, Danielle, is worth something. We've just got to be able to bottle it or box it up so it represents value. So when people transact with us, they go, it's like the story I tell here, and it's the same. Right, well, my lawyer, what is it? Slow Bride go. His lawyer charges me $200 an hour. You're getting ripped off. Mate, you get what you pay for. And I'm in franchising game, champ, and I am telling you, you get what you pay for. So, if you want to go and compete on price with your lawyer, then, and I never want to see you in court because it's a waste of money no matter how you slice it. But anyhow, like I go to burger joints here in town, McDonald's, A&W, depends on which neck of the woods you come from. But there's sometimes where I just want a quick feed or a burger, and I race through the drive-through at A&W and I grab a burger for like $12 or $8 or whatever it is. Or there's sometimes where I want to have a meeting with a client or a prospective franchise general contractor or a supplier. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to Mr. Mike's. I'm going to go to Earl's. I'm going to go to somewhere where I want to sit down. I actually want to, enjoy the atmosphere. It's a sports bar. Why are you freaking clowns? Would you clowns stop freaking laughing? I can't concentrate.
Slow Bride guy said, true, my wife got everything and the divorce.
See? You need my lawyer to bail you shit out, dude. Anyway. So sometimes you want the experience. And so for me, I'll go and pay $20 for a hamburger and fries, right? When I could have saved $10 and gone down the road, but I want the experience. So when we're trying to sell to our prospective clients, the quoting phase, it's why we don't call it quotes. We call it, get this, ready, quantity, takeoff, service. I come up with that name, nothing special about it. It just sounds better than get paid to quote. Now, again, here in Canada, it's really easy for me to compete because nobody else really does the fixed price. And if they do, they don't do it very well. So you've got to figure out for you how you're going to demonstrate value and then look at what the client wants. Peace of mind and security and satisfaction is what clients are looking for. So where are we up to? There's a lot of freaking head shaking going on. Dudes, we've been going an hour and 10 minutes. Let's go. Next question. Hope that helps. Who asked me that question? Was that?
Josh.
That was Josh. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that was a very elongated answer.
Oh, well, that's pretty freaking standard. Folks, we're going to go into overtime today. We might have to order pizza from next door. Okay, next question.
Jared from TikTok.
Thanks for the question, Jared. You're welcome, Joshua. Rock and roll.
Hey, have you ever worked for commercial construction? Do you recommend getting your builder's license? I'm a project coordinator in commercial construction, but looking for something different. I have an interest in subdivisions property development. With the current state of the building industry and procurement issues. What's your thoughts on trying to become a builder in this economy?
Okay, I'd love to know. What was the name again?
Jared,
I would love to know, Jared, which neck of the woods, if you're a North American carpenter / builder or if you're in Australia. Anyway, long story short is, you've got to love the construction game, dude. Clients can be ridiculously challenging. Just time out for a sec. Andrea from Ascent Virtual, she provides admin project coordination services for contractors. She was a finished carpenter in a previous life and knows what it feels like. So a lot of empathy there. I love I love doing business. I think the ladies have got such a high level of empathy and it gives them such a competitive advantage. I wish more gals would become general contractors. Honest to God, us guys have got such bullshit egos. It's out of control sometimes. Anyway, rant over. So Jared's question was, basically he wants to become a builder.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
he wants your thoughts on trying to become a builder in this economy.
Okay. So interestingly, everybody knows what happened in 2007, 2008. What happened? What happened, kids? There was the global economic crisis. Everything just fell in a big pile of horseshit. That was in 2007, 2008. In 2008, Smith & Sons was started. So I think that was a stellar move because it demonstrates how powerful the renovation and remodel. I would always say, and I would say this with cautious optimism because I've definitely been known to be wrong a few times, but I would say that, the renovation and remodeling, it's very recession-proof-ish because when the market dumps like it did or tanks like it did in 2008 because all of those subprime loans, et cetera, what we found is that people said, well, there's no security in new homes, and I'm not bagging the new homes. I'm sure guys, I won't get started, but for renovations, it's a great way to start because you cash flow positive your situation straight away, right? Because when the new home market tanks, interest rates go up, really people go, well, I've got so much equity in my existing home, I can actually borrow money at a really good rate, because maybe the line of credit is good, and I'm going to go and just stay where I love where I live, so I'm going to renovate this, good to go. Then when new homes go up and all of a sudden their interest rates come down, people go, well, the value of my established home just went up, and so I've got so much equity now, I can actually do a significant renovation, and actually I love where I live, and that is a claim to fame. It's what we use in our marketing message a lot, is that I love where I live. I'm in the cul-de-sac. I've been here for 20 years. I've got all my friends. I'm now, the school catchment is good, so my kids walk to school, et cetera, et cetera. People don't want to go and move to the suburbs. They don't want to move further away. They don't want to change their geographical location, and so renovations, become a very viable option. So, and definitely cash flow positive. Because the sales cycle on a renovation is a lot shorter. You go and try and sell a $750,000 new home build, the sales cycle on that thing can be anywhere between 6 and 12 months or more. There's a lot of work in the meantime that you're going to be doing. If you're doing it by yourself, you're probably going to be working on a couple of deals because there's so much design work to do, so much liaising with clients, or you're going to work with an interior designer, you got to be working with architects. Like there's a lot of work you're doing, and if you're not getting paid to do all that design aspect, which you should be, preliminary building agreement is what I'm talking about, all the design phase, that design and quoting process can take between 4 to 10 weeks, and then the approval process can take between 10 and 16, or maybe less, depending on what municipality you're in, right? And so renovations, again, another reason for renos is you can go in and get cash flow positive quickly if you're quoting on maybe jobs are $100,000 or less, kitchens and bathrooms. So that's my opinion. That's all that is. Next question.
Brett
Thanks.
Wilkie.
Was that Jared? No.
Yes.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate the question, champ.
Brett has like 6 questions.
Brett, you're going to need to send me a damn email, bro.
You're going to get a novel.
How many more Smith & Sons franchises are you selling in Ontario? Mate, we have avoided, look, with COVID, I decided that we were just going to market in BC and Alberta. We've had some interest from Ontario, but I just wanted to be within 12 hours drive. That's why we did. So where I'm at, I'm in the north end of the Okanagan Valley here. And so anything 12 hours, which means I can get to the lower mainland, I can get to Vancouver Island, I can get to Calgary, and I can get to Edmonton, and I can get to even Saskatoon, right? 12 to 14 hours. But yeah, Ontario, man, we went, time out. We're ready to go to the States as well, but obviously it's the same shit. We're not going there yet. So now, Carmen Cider, I wonder if that is a brewery. He or she just commented and said they love the content. We appreciate the love. Big high five. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. And while I'm saying that, like it's really humbling to have people that sit in here and listen to me bang on about construction. I do love it. I really come to this country with, no real options. I had business dealings with Smith & Sons back in Oz. I was here for 5 months, and I decided to go, hey, what about this? I'm getting the wind-up call from one of my guys. Okay, can I have a shout-out for those at the brewery? Didn't I just shout him out? How do I say that? Carmen and Cider, giving us some daps and some love.
I would just go answer Brett's question real quick.
That one that just popped up?
Yeah.
What is franchisee support like from corporate? Mate, I am corporate. Thanks again, so much value here, buddy. I appreciate the love. Brett, honestly, dude, in this office, I had a creative director. I have a micro creative director, micro content producer. I've got reception and admin. I've got franchise sales, and I've got finance administration. And so I don't do this by myself because I want to free myself up from operations to be able to double down and help my general contractors be the best that they can be. And I shit you not, unless they're making money, I ain't making money. And that is the honest to God truth. So, it's just the financial side of things. Quoting and estimating, sales and financial management helps us set up to go to business development. If you can't get those 3 pillars right, forget about business development. It's not on. So that's kind of what I do, man. I mean, there's probably a whole bunch more I do, but I'm getting the wind-up call again. Next question. Brett, email me, max@businessforbuilders.ca. Hit me up.
Yeah,
Let's
just
go.
Brett's question. Do you want to go through Brett's questions?
No, Brett, we're going to catch up, dude.
Brett,
I'm better. Brett, I'll tell you what. I'll get on the phone to you, Brett. So email me your cell number, dude, and I'll call you. Like this, I got to get to these. We're at this for an hour and 20, and I've got a queue of questions. Are we going to be able to get through the questions or not?
If you go quick.
If I go quick, yeah, right.
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a 12-minute countdown before I've got to start paying my team overtime.
It's 9 minutes actually.
Okay, sorry, it's 9 minutes. Oh yeah, it's 4:51 here in British Columbia. So rapid fire, let's go. Let's see what I can do.
Parker.
Legion Homes USA has just given me some love as well. Appreciate it. Stay close. And if you're a young GC, which he just says he is, then you're definitely going to need that biz dev and that financial management side of things if you're going to actually be in this the long game and make a shit ton of money because there's opportunity out there. Okay.
Parker, how would you set up a succession plan for a son taking over a GC business? How do you determine above the line versus below the line? Sorry, that's a 2-part. Parker has 2 questions.
Okay, so give me the first part again.
How would you set up a succession plan for a son taking over a GC business?
Right, so, righto. Yeah, okay. There's definitely a core process that you'd go through, but it really depends on you and the son. I don't know if you're the son or whether you're the dad, right? It depends on how strong that chemistry is, and it depends on how systemized your business is, because the danger is that what you're going to find is that all of the systems, if they're in your head and they're not documented, then you're going to have to teach the son. Now, if the son's been kicking around for 15 years, he actually should know the game. So the succession plan will be a lot easier. But I would say that that's going to take more investigation to really give you an accurate, in other words, I've got to make observations, or I've got to, really undertake an assessment process, make an observation, and then develop, create a report, really with a bunch of, recommendations as to how that would happen. So yeah, dude, that's an answer is not for TikTok. That'd be bullshit for me to start waffling on about how I would do that. So, look, if you, again, email me is the best way. Give me a one question subject line. Give me 2 emails if you want to do that. Brett's asking what the email was again.
Yeah, Jill's got it.
You just fixed that?
Yeah.
Right, max@businessforbuilders.ca.
Okay.
Go, next one.
We're done taking questions.
Okay, we can't answer any more questions. Is there any more questions that are in the line or in the queue? There is.
Yeah.
We got questions. Okay, guys, we can't answer. Don't put any more questions in. Can't believe I'm saying that because we're going to run out of time. Go.
Jared, how do you determine above the line versus below the line?
Thinking.
No idea. That's all he said.
Look, I've got that in one of my training sessions, probably in biz dev. You've got to have an optimistic outlook. Positivity has to get louder, right? Optimism has to become a natural reaction to you when you go through something, because I'm telling you, we all want to go and do biz dev and we want to launch our business and take it to the next level and all that sort of horse shit, and that's fantastic. However, what I'm telling you is that shit is going to go pear-shaped. The thing is, you can't control humans. Humans in your business are going to go do some dumb shit. They're going to go and do some very, it's about being a good talent scout too, right? So if you can develop a good team, that is half the battle. But you can't control humans. So above the line thinking is highly recommended. If you want to buy, let's say this, if you come to me and say, Max, I'm a general contractor and I want to buy a franchise off you, and then I start to ask questions about you and you just exude a negative, pessimistic attitude, ew, it's really icky. Like, because we have to have an element of optimism, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to create something out of fresh air. And so you need a big, exciting dream to inspire you when you start going through some negative experiences, which you will, and get through those experiences and make the most out of those experiences and understand that it's not about what I'm going through, it's about what I'm going to. And so, I think, I don't know whether I've got that right. That could be right. It could be way off the mark. But if he starts talking about above the line and below the line, that's what I go to. Hope that helps.
Jared's third question. After this, we'll have two more.
Okay, let's go.
With having a backlog of work through 2023, how do you give dates to clients?
Yeah, okay. So here's where... Okay, the way that... Okay, holy shit, dude. This can't be a rapid-fire answer. Anyway, quickly, right? What you should be doing is, we go back to what I've talked about. You need to be a specialist and you need to be creating or defining or designing your niche. So for us, it's renovations, remodels. Now, even within that, there's got to be some definition. Am I going to be a post-$250,000 reno kind of guy where I'm doing second-story additions, where I'm doing two-story additions out the side of a two-story home, or am I going to be 50 to 100 grand? And the reason I say that is because what I want to do, and I talk about this on my day 4 of BizDev, is I talk about project positioning. So you've got to figure out your niche, what kind of projects you do, and then you start working out how long do those projects take me to do, how many of those projects can I, and listen, how many of those projects can I start in a month? Okay? So we're talking about project positioning, and we're talking about, we've got to have some separation between project starts. Because if you do 3 kitchen projects and you start them all on the same day, odds on is you're going to finish them on the same day. And that is shit. Because what that's going to do is put pressure on you, Mr. or Miss or Mrs. Builder. And you don't want to do that. So to be able to figure out what my dance card looks like for the remainder of the year and into 2023, I've got to figure out my niche. I've got to figure out how long those projects take me to build. And I've got to figure out how many of those projects can I safely start, because let's say a kitchen project might take me 2 months. Well, if I'm going to finish those in 2 months, you can start now. It helps if you have a Gantt chart or some way of doing project management, that you can work out that if I start this job on this day, I'm going to finish. Now, you might be able to do it with a spreadsheet, but you definitely are going to have to position those jobs and work out and be able to extrapolate. So let's say you can only start 2 kitchens a month, right? So I start a kitchen on the 2nd week of the month and the 3rd week of the month, or it might be the 2nd and 4th, whatever you want to do. Then you can calculate the duration of those projects. Bang. What I want to do is I want to start 2 new projects next month, a week before those projects finish. Now I've got an overlap, and then wash, rinse, and repeat. Right.
Final question.
Yep, Danielle made an interesting comment. Final question. I like that, because then I'm going to jump into some random comments.
Yeah.
Go.
Max. From Max.
Okay. Not Max Martin.
No.
Another Max.
I think it's a different
Good
Max.
name.
Hey, mate, how do I
Aussie.
get an apprenticeship?
How do you find an apprenticeship?
How do I get an apprenticeship? That's what he's...
You just friggin' lucky. Because the reason I give that advice is because that's exactly what I did. Just got lucky. I just happened to go to a friend's place. She was telling me that her brother-in-law was looking for an apprentice. And Louise is like, "Do you want me to ring him?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because I was like out there to get on it, right? I want to get out of school. That's essentially what I wanted. That stage I was doing tech college, and literally he talked to me. So like, "When can you start?" I'm like, "Tomorrow." He's like, "Okay, see you down the bakery at 6 o'clock and let's go to work." So I had no idea what to expect. So dude, I actually don't know. I've never investigated. I've got 2 of my oldest kids working for me. So I know how they got a job. They're my kids. Like, that was that easy. But I know that one of my kids who's working for me now, worked at Rona, which is a hardware store here in Canada. And she got that position because a cousin of my wife's in this town said, hey, that guy or that company's looking for someone to work the cash counter at the front, whatever. And that's so I think the best way is to ask a lot of questions and, maybe get on. I tell you what, you're on, this is on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Find all the builders on TikTok and send them a DM. Send 1,000 DMs between now and next Friday, and then come back to me and let me know who you got an apprenticeship with. I guarantee you, well, that's a bit tricky. I think it's highly likely if you DM'd 1,000 people on TikTok, 1,000 builders on TikTok, and said, I'm 16, I'm 18, I've graduated, I'm super keen, I work harder than anybody else, I would love to entertain the idea of becoming a carpentry apprenticeship. I'm pretty sure that if you did that enough times over and over, you would find someone who would give you a shot at least in your town. So do a hashtag search for your city or your town and get after it. Go and do some legwork. That's how you find an apprenticeship.
Okay, do you want to sign this off? You have 36 people in the house, so you can just keep going with them. We're just not going to record it.
We're not going to record it. Okay, so if they're asking questions, they're not going to be on the Q&A.
Yeah.
So we're just cutting off at an hour and 30, are we?
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Look, what do we do?
Just sign that off.
If you want to keep going with the phones, but yeah.
All right, sign off the camera. That's enough Q&A.